You want to know the fastest way to waste millions of dollars? Believe your culture is ready for new technology without asking anyone who actually lives in it. You can force new technology onto your company by branding it our digital first initiative, but if your culture isn't ready, you just set all of your money on fire. I've sat in thousands of executive meetings where they say, our people are so ready for new technology, or our digital transformation is the number one asked initiative of our people. And I say, well, Richard, that's one, not true, and also completely delusional. Not everyone in your organization is ready for new technology. And the fact that you even think that is a waving, flying, burning red flag. A company culture is not what the executive leadership wants it to be or thinks it is. It's not the values printed in the lobby or what people say in weird training onboarding videos. It's how people talk when no one's listening. It's how they react under pressure, and if they feel safe enough to say, hey, this isn't working. I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. No executive understands their company culture. They are too far removed from it. As an executive myself for a global consulting firm, I don't understand our company's culture unless I assess it, unless I listen and use the data to see what the story is telling me. Executives have a completely different experience than the day-to-day people working in their company. And the more they create this delusion that they know, the more their ego gets in the way of a successful technology transformation. And this isn't just my theory. This is actual data from the industry. And I think a great example of this is the case study around Target's opening of their retail stores in Canada. And nothing against Target. I'm a millennial mom. It's required that I like Target, all right? This is just a showcase of when you don't listen to your people, how much money it can actually cost you. I was actually speaking at a Women in Tech conference when a person asked me a question about the Target implementation, which is how I learned that from the Canadian market. So what they did is they decided they were going to pop off in the Canadian market. They were going to open 100 new stores, take a bold move, and take over the marketplace. To support this rollout, they implemented SAP for inventory management, retail, and supply chain support in all of these 100 stores. So not only are they opening new locations, they're implementing the hardest ERP system to implement in the entire world. Even within a few months in, everything was on fire. Inventory products were saying they're in stock when they weren't. Supply chain and inventory management weren't syncing. There was a bunch of silos. And then overall, people didn't understand how to use the system. Shoppers were not happy. The issue here, middle managers, which can make or break your implementation, knew there was something wrong. Bad data, no localization, no testing. But they were told time and time again, don't rock the boat, don't tell the leadership. So they didn't. And silence is very expensive. Their leadership team was completely obsessed with this crazy ass timeline, which happens all the time in our industry, and it drives me absolutely crazy because you do not know your go live date until you've done testing. It was clear that this system was totally duct taped together, but they were pushing to meet this deadline because they cared what the public thought more than what their employees were experiencing. Another huge issue that especially bigger businesses don't consider is the change in culture. Even when you have American culture and Canadian culture, which can be similar, both North American, they took the US playbook and dropped it in the Canadian market. That's stupid. They didn't fully understand the marketplace. They had inexperienced people in the wrong seats, and they didn't give an open feedback loop for their teams to ask questions. And what did this nonsense cost them? In less than 4 years, Target Canada shut down completely. They closed over 130 stores and laid off over 17,000 employees. Plus, they had $7 billion with a B in losses. This was not SAP's fault, okay? And you guys know I'm hard on SAP. It's the fault of the business by not taking into consideration what their culture of their employees and their customers needed. Transformations have very little to do with technology, but they have a lot to do with the truth. Especially in IT, we can see culture as a soft science. It's not. It is a bottom line KPI. And when execs ignore culture or have this crazy ego that think they understand it perfectly, they not only sabotage their transformation, but they completely light their ROI on fire.